All right, this is it's going to be a short one for me, which is rare, to be fair. But I had to make a quick video talking about a fairly new holy grail of mine that came through. Well, it didn't come through the letterbox. It was carefully handed over by the postman in this massive, huge, rectangular bubble wrapped mass that I was just like, Jesus Christ. It took me about 40 minutes to kind of cut my way through all the bubble wrap and finally get to the sweet Blu-ray on the inside. And it was a great thrill for me on that mail day to find this glorious Blu-ray in my hand. And I really have to thank Matt Costaturi, who's been a good friend of mine for many years now, and it's been intermittent as he's kind of drifted away and come back to YouTube and stuff. But we always kind of pick things back up where we left off, and he's a really good friend, and someone I've got a lot of time for. And we've been reconnecting lately and watching a lot of Twin Peaks. We've been doing videos about it on our channels, primarily the Douglas Fir Association. And so I'm really enjoying doing that with him and going on the Twin Peaks journey with him. We'll be doing some David Lynch films soon too. And he knew that I was really looking for this Blu-ray, and it was a new kind of holy grail for me. Like, I really wanted this one, and he kept finding links on eBay like more faster than I could. And I was like, because it was a film that just wasn't appearing, a Blu-ray that wasn't really appearing on eBay all that much. And whenever it did, it was silly money it was going for, like 50, 60, 80 pounds. Like, there's just no way I was going to pay that. And we are talking about a film in which it's readily available on its standard release, but I wanted the booklet and the slipcover to match the sets that I had. And I've talked about it a few times on the channel, so if you follow my videos regularly enough, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. And there's been a few times where I almost bid on something for like 30 quid, but the slipcover's a little bit mangled or whatever, and there are people, were putting down serious money for, copies of this Blu-ray that were not in the best of conditions. And well, I'm talking about in terms of a collector, like just little dents on the slipcover or whatever, but that's a whole other thing. Matt found a perfect brand new sealed copy of it, and I said, can you just grab it for me and I'll pay you back at the end of the month and stuff. And as things have shaken out, he offered to just give it to me, which I couldn't accept, because not like he spent a fortune on it, but it's still enough to make me feel a bit uneasy about it. Now, I'll pay you for it. But he insisted, and I was, incredibly grateful for that. But I've accepted this as a gift on the basis that I will send him back something in return. Maybe not of the same monetary value, but something that when the right thing comes up that I think that he'll like and appreciate, I'll send him something in return for that. But regardless, the film itself and the Blu-ray is Eureka Entertainment's release of the 1985 film directed by Ricky Lau, Mr. Vampire. Finally, I have this beauty in my collection. So happy to have this with the slipcover, and before you get all those moaners like, well, it's not about the piece of cardboard that comes with it, it's about the movie. Yeah, got it. Every time people say it to me, I'm like, yes, I understand, but I am a film collector as well as a film lover, so those two things kind of intertwine. It is about the movie, but it's also about the nice addition too. So, in a nutshell, I'm not going to give you the whole history, but earlier this year, Eureka put out a Blu-ray set called Hopping Mad, the Mr. Vampire sequels. I'd never seen them before, dove in, starting with Mr. Vampire 2, absolutely loved it. Mr. Vampire 3, phenomenal fun. Mr. Vampire 4, absolutely adored it. Mr. Vampire vs. Vampire, I didn't love, but it was kind of a mixed bag. But this is probably like my favorite release of 2023 so far, maybe, possibly. I loved it. I fell in love with these films, so I wanted the original with the slipcover so it matches, and now I can say I've got a nice kind of complete set, even though there's lots of other different kind of Mr. Vampire movies in the canon, some loose, some, not exactly official, but I just love that I have both of these now. It's just super satisfying. So happy to have both of these. And, I watched it immediately, and there was a little fear that maybe it wouldn't be a great film, but I absolutely loved it. I had such a blast with this film. And I'm going to do a Blu-ray review of it at some point and just dive into everything. But this was super fun. And I loved kind of doing the sequels first and going back to the original, because it was like an Avengers Assemble moment right from the beginning of the movie. Oh my God, it's okay. So Lam Ching-ying, who's like the kind of the Taoist kind of master who can kind of deal with these Chinese vampires, going see. And, he comes in, and it's Anthony Chan, and then there's Billy Lau, and Wu Ma, Moon Lee, and I was just like, 4 or 5 months ago, I knew none of these people really. Maybe a couple of them I'd heard of, but Chin Su Ho, I know these people, and I was so excited to see them all in the original, if that makes sense. And so, what can I say? I was just in heaven watching this. This is such a fun film. I was laughing out loud so much. Great action, great comedy. This kind of style of horror comedy from Hong Kong, and in this particular era of the 1980s, is just fantastic. And I also had recently got the new 88 Films release of Magic Cop, which is essentially like, Mr. Vampire 6 or 5 or whatever you want to call it. It's like it's set in modern. And I watched this recently, loved it. So this is just like a wonderful canon of Lam Ching-ying taking down vampires and ghosts and being a badass while doing it. And I just love these movies so much. So Matt, thank you again so much for this. This is now a prized part of my collection, and I was going to say I'll get you back. I won't get you back, but I'll pay you back through the wonderful art of gifting a friend a Blu-ray. So that's it for now. That's just a nice little appreciation. I will do a review of Mr. Vampire down the line, and that's it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.